Hey, I'm back and I'm here for another Mad Radio vlogcast. And what I wanted to do today, because I want to take a break from what I normally do, is to try and, fool around with some clouds to try and see if I could make some clouds based on a tutorial that I saw earlier today or earlier this week. And what I wanted to do is just, if I make a ball, is to combine a few meta balls to try and these aren't actually the native meta balls. These are the just some regular ones that I'm putting together via a plugin that I have that I'm going to use to create this. And so basically, I just have these balls, and I'm gonna combine them to make a little sort of cloud-like form. So let me just go ahead and do that. Resize it a bit so they don't all look about like the same. Move it, move it. So anyway, like I said, I was looking at a video earlier on a demo scene and on the demo scene, and SIGGRAPH was recently they had SIGGRAPH. I don't know if you've heard of that, but it's a kind of an entertainment like CG convention that they have every once in a while. And this guy was describing a technique he used to make some clouds. So I'm going to try it a little bit. I just have these blobs, and what I'm going to do is try to use that with a little bit of texturing to create a scene with that. So I'll just send it to layout, and I might need to up the resolution here on that just real quick as I go to layout. Let's see, there's a car in the background. And maybe another one. Okay, so it's a real fine mesh here, and I forgot to hit save. So maybe I won't have to go so hard on the resolution in layout. So we have that, and if I turn VPR on, this is, let's see how large it is. That is a tree. Okay, so everybody knows that's a tree. And the cloud is going to be, let's see, about this size. Maybe like that. It's about how large a cloud is. So go back to layout. And let's see, we have VPR on now. I turned it on just up just for a second. And back away. Put a cloud up in the sky. Put the camera up there. Maybe back it up a little bit. Okay, so if we go to properties and change displacement map, go back to VPR. What we want to do is turn on the displacement map. That will help to do that. And if you change the texture mode to displacement mode to procedural, maybe zoom in a bit so we can see it. So we have some bumps going on there, and I don't want to get too wild with these values because a lot of times if you do that, they will kind of freak out on you. So see how much bumps we can get with just a little bit of frequency change. Up the contrast to contrast 30 small powers. Pretty big cloud. So maybe if we higher on the scaling, we can get a little bit more bumpiness. That seems to give us a little something, little variation. Maybe Y too. What happens if we go really small? Oh, that's interesting. It's kind of like topographical. Pretty cool. Kind of fun to play around with these settings. That might be a little bit too much on top. 10. How about add another layer? It's always fun to stack these layers. And this time, instead of turbulence, we'll go with any suggestions? Fractal noise. Okay. Fractal noise is pretty good. And I'll just go and hit smoothing so we won't have to worry about too much bumpiness. Let's see if this is actually going to smooth it. Smoothing angle, I'll go 100. I'll see what it does. Nope. Crack it at 5, something like that. See if it'll smooth that like that. And since we have such a small resolution on this thing, we're going to go to properties and try and up the metabolic resolution anyway. Oh, that's nodal. Let's get rid of that. This is Lightwave's new layout, so it has all the stuff already laid out for you. If I can remove that, I won't have to look at it ever again. And let's see if I can find it. I need some serious glasses here to look at this stuff. I'm always squinting to look at this. And this is per polygon. This is per polygon. Let's see. We'll divide it. Can't even see it. Let's look at that, and then we'll say 30. Maybe up that to 100. Not that that matters. That's not in the display, but this should be rendering in the display. And I think we're not going to get around that. We're going to have to go in and actually tweak the values of this new texture to see if we can get it to behave. So texture value, I'm going to say 0.9. What would that do? No, 100. Oh wow, blinked it out. So go back to point. Hopefully it won't crash here. And as a matter of fact, before it crashes, maybe I'll save 0.3. I think that's pretty decent. And I'll save this scene as cloud. Maybe cloud 2, because I had another one I was working on. Save scene as cloud 2. But of course it doesn't matter because I already saved over the first object. So small power is going to be 0.4 and contrast. Let's see what happens if I bump it up majorly. Frequencies probably need a lot. 30 frequencies, 100 frequencies. What is it doing? 0.2. No frequencies. What else do I want to do with this? Scale it to let's see what happens if I scale it up to 100. It'll do. Back to square one. So 20. Just kind of tweaking these values today. That's looking pretty decent. So the X, maybe leave that. Z, let's twirl it around a bit. Let's see what we got. It's rotation in terms of anything. Tell you what, I'm gonna open that first scene so we can see what the values were on that, because I had a pretty good value estimation on that. So we'll look at that real quick. I didn't write those down. Load scene. Again, there's some cars moving outside. Okay. Property. Let's zoom in. Do a BPR. I'll tell you what I don't like is the fact that it's acting really. Let's see, I can't undo that. I'd have to redo the object or simplify or something like that. But let's see what the values are for it. Properties. Displacement map. We had a fractal noise, which was 1, 2, 30, and 0.9. So fractal noise 1, 2, 30.9. Let's see what that is. That's kind of crazy. So it's sort of arbitrary. This time it looks like since I subdivided so many times, it won't need to be the exact values aren't really relevant. But let's see. Let's go back to what we had. Okay. And then we'll hit it's procedural. We're going to hit multiply. See if we can just add that value to this value. What is this? Additive. We'll do another multiply. No, that's not going to work. It's almost the same thing in Photoshop. And that's looking alright. So maybe we'll tweak that a little bit more. And scale it. What was the scale on this one? 5 millimeters. I don't know. So, and then we had a crumple texture that had 500 millimeters. Okay, so this is turbulence. Well, let's say we go to crumple and see what happens. and do 5 millimeters. Let's try 5 millimeters first. Kind of like that. So what happens with 500 millimeters? A little bit more. And how about some frequencies? Too many frequencies? No. Small powers 0.9 seems to be texture value too. If I go all the way up on that. It's looking crumply. To difference. Yeah, that's neat. 300 millimeters. What are we doing here? What's going on? What's happening with that texture? Huh. Back to 3 millimeters. Let's see what it does. Huh. I want to keep it kind of globy, but let's take this back down to 10, maybe to 0.5. Okay, well, let's just move on to this texture editor. Let's see what we can get in terms of transparency. I'll go back to the standard shader. Oh, the standard shader, please. Nope. Standard. Where is it? Yeah. Okay. Now I can fool with it. It's in the normal mode here. This is transparency. What will happen if I add a gradient? Got a little bit of action there, so I'll take this value back down to 0 so that we can do some stuff with it. And I don't know if this alpha really is significant, but I'll turn the alpha back down to 0, or down to 0 anyway, not back down to 0, and base it on distance to camera, or let's see if we can get the camera view. Distance to camera. Might be a couple meters away, so about 100 meters or so. And back here, well, that's not exactly what I wanted to happen. So it's 0 to 1 meters. I messed up the value. Let's go back to 0. Our alpha is now 0, so take it back up to 100. And distance to camera is not really doing anything. Distance to pivot, what does that do? Up the transparency a bit. Say I use a multiply, see what that'll do. Not going to do anything without another layer. Transparency up, reflection. I think there's some glossiness and reflection on here. Not going to need that for a cloud. Specular, don't need it. Transparency. What happens? Transparent. No, it's not transparency, that's reflection. Transparency. Down, up. Transparency. How about a bump map? Let's go to bumps. And try something like procedural. Let's go back to perspective so we can check it out. So we got some little bumps on the actual texture. Change the frequencies to 30. Let's see if we can get some more out of it. Right now I'm going to change the light because I usually like something. I want to have the light to be orange. Did I get out of VPR? Where am I now? What happened? Back to VPR, right? So up the intensity of the light to 30. Angle 30. What happened there? Not showing up too much. Again, I have never done this. Well, actually, no, I did try this once before. So I don't have that excuse right now. But we got a bump here, and where's that bump texture again? Go back to surface editor. Go into the bumps. Let's get 100 millimeters. Oops. On each of these. See if we react to that. Just doing some little tweaking today just to try and see if this cloud thing will work. Nothing major, you know. Exactly tried this 100 times before, but let's just see how it works. And this cloud is, let's see if I can twist it around a little bit, see what I can get from it. Moving it, rotation. If there's anything it wants to tell me about itself. Luckily, I've got this displacement here open. See if that'll do anything for us. Back to multiply. This one says difference. Normal. And contrast is fine. Let's take small power back down. I think that transparency is up too high. Let's see where it's at. See what'll happen if we take transparency down. Well, gosh, I do not want to. Let's see. Color filter. I didn't do anything with that, did I? Shift click. Let's take VPR off for a minute. See what is happening with that. Texture value 0. Oh wow. Let's do a 0.4. Yeah, I'm gonna do another blob here and see if I can get it to be a bit more smooth. So just enlarge that. Copy. Paste. Shrink. Use mesh. Oops. Moving them all. Let's see. Yeah. I only want a slight kink. Combine the two. Okay, whoops. No. Well, maybe that's alright. Okay, that's cool. Alright, now I'm gonna copy that, get rid of this, let's paste that in there, drop it to the center, save again. This is, let's see, I'm not using this, let's close this one out. I might have been trying to fix that one instead of this one, which is a little bit more cloudy, I guess. And the transparency up, down. We got a bump somewhere in there, right? And small power. I think that's what we already had. Smoothing. Huh. Let's go back in there. Bring up the diffuse. Bring up the luminosity to 100, I guess. Luminosity to 75. Huh. What does that mean? Let's see here. I'll rotate it around. Translucency. What is all that about? Color highlights. Let's see what happens if we do some color highlighting and gradient. Add a gradient. Gonna base it on light incidence. distance to pivot. I think that might be too much on the bump. Let's go see if the bump is causing a little bit too much trouble. Let's take that down altogether, see what happens if we take the bumps off. Well, we could leave it on and it would be great. How about some of these guys? How much trouble are they causing? Nope. Yep. Yay or nay on that? No, those are doing all the work. We had a pretty good scene a minute ago. Hold on, let's see if we can get back there. Transparency. Bump. What did we do for bump? There's nothing there, so maybe if we go like 100 or something on bumps, we can get some serious cloud formations. Keep trying to do this here. See what it will give us, if anything. It's way too small, so let me go back here and see what's causing that. It's 500 meters for this. Let's try 5 meters. See what happens. Okay, that's a little bit more cloudy looking. Let's twist it around and see what happens. Rotate. Oh, what's going on there? I didn't do an instancer. I don't know why it's doing that. Let's see. Let's go back to so I can hear. Okay, all right. This guy is still there. So just this one here. You want to see? Is it not dropped to the ground? Certainly is. I am in perspective. Let's go back to camera. See, I don't like that last tweak I just did. see if we can just go 2 dimensions. It's looking a little bit more cloudy. Let's go back to the texture editor. Transparency. We're at 60 right now. Can't fail on that. Let's see. Or is it? Yeah, that's transparency. The highlight wasn't really doing anything. Bump. Go all the way up on bump. And I need to change this light here to. Whoops. Let's put that down here. Let's change the light to a area light or something. Let's see, where is it? Find it. Light property. Orange. Yes. We want that orange. I want it to be area. No. What are these other ones? Other options. Distant light. DP something or another. Flood. Linear. Well, we can probably keep it at distant. That looks. I guess that looks all right. And why is it not? Let's see. Let's go back to surface editor here and try it as transparency one more time. I'm not sure why it's not wanting to be transparent. Maybe diffuse goes down. Let's see what happens. Well, okay, back up. All the way up. Diffuse, luminosity all the way up. How we like that. Bumps up, everything's up. Transparency. Double sided, what does that do? I have a tendency to tweak way too much. So let's get in here and try procedural texture. Let's see, that's at 1 meter, about 10 on both these dimensions. Maybe even all 3 dimensions. And how about we just zoom in? Well, I'll just go to perspective. See what it says. Why is that thing not picking this object to use? I have way too many windows open right now. Close a few of them. Lights. All right, perspective. Let's see. Why are you not acting right? Okay. So once again, how about go to back to surface editor and try this. Try to double up on my layering here. Use a multiply. We're using multiply there. Can't see what's going on again. Can't do a double monitor. Let's do invert. What does that do? And a multiply. additive. That's interesting. It's got some, put some little dirt in the clouds. Multiply again. Yeah, you know what I'm going to do though? I'm going to go ahead and instance this and see what happens when we do that. Okay, so perspective is, I know this is way over. I'm just tweaking today, so you know. You can hang around if you want, or you can just tweak on your own. I don't know. Whatever you want to do. But anyway, the normal instancer that I would like to use is not working, so I'm going to have to use this native instancer to do this. This is like everybody's favorite part anyway. So just this cloud in here. Go to the rectangular instancer. Rectangular. I don't have particles right now, so I have to use rectangle. We want 50x 50z, right? Maybe 1y. Get rid of that texture for now. What is this? This is that turbulence again. What happened? Perspective. I'm gonna go 30 because maybe it's just acting funny right now. Perhaps. Oh, you know what happened? I need to spread it out over a little bit of an area here. 400 meters, 100 meters, 200 meters. What? What was it about to tell me here? Huh. Stretch. Do I need to stretch? Do I need to scale? Maximum. Minimum. Scale. I'm going to randomly rotate a little bit. The last one didn't work too well, so let's see what happens. Oh no. 0. See what it looks like here. Spread it out a little bit more. Spacing Y, like it says, just do 5 meters or something. Let's see what it says. I get a little bit further spacing concerning the Y. Rotation, fine. Offset, we'll offset by 5 meters in any direction, just to get a little bit more randomness to it. Well, it seems like that Z spacing could use a little bit of something. Anyway, just trying to do some clouds today. I couldn't figure out how to get the texture to to be exactly what I wanted it to be, but it's looking a little more. Might try hypervoxels next time, but there's a little bit of cloudiness to it. Let me see if I can go back to the camera view and what the camera sees. Yeah, it's a little cloudiness. I mean, the camera the hypervoxels might work better, but it's gonna take a long time. I'm gonna position the camera a little bit lower. Usually takes hypervoxels forever to try and. Actually, I haven't tried this version. There's supposed to be a new way to do that. That is based on hypervoxels, but it's not hypervoxels. I don't know what the deal it is. So, you know, might try something like that in terms of the clouds or whatever. Watch it render in VPR really quick. Not really quickly, but more like really slowly. Actually, might be faster to do a render. Well, let me go to backdrop just to enhance a little bit. Um, Gradient backdrop, add environment. I'm gonna cheat and do a sky tracer. And it's not the exact one that I really want. Let's see. Let's go blue here with that. See if that affects it at all. Gray I don't like. Let's go white. And just do this render. See what happens. Alright, I'm gonna be right back. You can watch that if you want. Anyway, it'll probably take a little longer, but I'm gonna stop the video, and you could, like I said, if you had a faster computer, you can animate that. You can watch the preview and rotate the clouds around a little bit as they're moving in a certain direction or whatever. And you could create your own like planes, or sort of you could just kind of paint with clouds if you wanted to. But like I said, I was meaning to stop the video, and have a good week.